What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. Folks, the ESG movement has claimed the first country. Now, I don't know why I'm laughing because it's a serious issue, but it's just the sheer dumbness of what virtue signaling does, that it destroys a nation. And we're seeing it happen globally. Check this article out, or this post. So apparently, gas stations are beginning to run out of gas in Northern California. In Sunnyvale, California, is where it is actually. And apparently, there's a note that says that they're only offering regular unleaded gasoline. There's no other types of fuel left. And this is Sunnyvale is it's a small town. Um, and this is going to affect not only the people there, but this is the beginning. These are the early signs of what's coming. I told myself, I've wanted a truck for a long time, and I thought I was thinking of getting one, but after everything that's happened, it still serves its useful purpose. But I have to make do with what I have right now, especially because it's a very fuel efficient vehicle. And if I go ahead and spend, however many thousands, used car prices are way overpriced. And if I go and buy, one of these trucks, all that money that I spent on the truck could be used elsewhere, right? I could, borrow friends and family's trucks instead of having to buy one. And I'm trying to justify it just because I know that right now supplies are in short demand. Right now, there's other things that take priority in my life than having that type of vehicle when I can, borrow it from someone else. I understand the utility that a truck brings, but for my situation, I have to make sure I have certain priorities in order, right? And right now, the worst thing for me to do is just go buy either a used or a new truck just based on my financial situation. But can you imagine people who are just buying new cars just to buy them? There goes however much money down the drain. They're indebted for a long time. And sooner or later, they might not even be able to drive that vehicle. And you'll see why. Stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to show you why. I'm starting to see this, and this is something I had given thought to a while back, and now I'm starting to see that narrative come to fruition. So, anyways, stay tuned to the end, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Here we see gas taxes, right? And you can see it for each state. Now, there's a federal tax that's given to each type of gasoline, right? You see diesel has a 24.4 federal tax, and the other types of gasoline are 18.4. Now, the state diesel tax and the state gasoline tax varies by state. We can see Alaska being the fewest and Pennsylvania being the highest, followed by California, all these West Coast states. No surprise there. Okay? And if you want, you can go ahead and look down the line to see where your state lands. But all these West Coast states are unbelievably high, with the exception of a couple Eastern states. But yeah, what Biden wants to do is have a gas tax holiday. And what this is going to do is going to exacerbate the issue, and people are going to start hoarding the gas. It's not going to make it that much cheaper. I mean, 18 cents off of whatever it is in your state, it's a small drop in the bucket. It will do absolutely nothing. And then in the end, it's going to make things get even more expensive. This is the way to price controls. When you have price controls, then that kills competition in the markets. And then what ends up happening is you start having no supply, because competitors are like, what's the point of it if I can't make profits off of it? So I'm telling you folks, this is the road to price controls, and it's going to exacerbate the problem. Now, let's talk about why buying a new car or a very expensive car is not the right investment. They're trying to bring in this new, zero carbon emissions. Here, Biden's saying they're investing nearly $100 billion in public transit to take millions of cars off the road. Eventually, I would not be surprised if they put some kind of tax on internal combustion engines. And that tax could get pretty high. Now, you take that into account, and you might say, wow, this isn't affordable for me, and I can't afford to buy an EV. So, what are you left with? Well, now you're left with a huge bill to pay off your new car or whatever it is, used or new, and you won't be even able to use it, and you're paying, some kind of ESG tax. Folks, you gotta wake up and smell the roses where this may lead. So be very wise with your financial decisions. I could be wrong, right? I definitely could be wrong. But you're starting to see the narrative take shape. So be very wise. Here, and this is very important, Sri Lanka. So it says ESG has officially collapsed its first economy. Sri Lanka has hastily pivoted away from essential fertilizer in the name of ESG and watched its crop yields plummet. Now the country can't pay for imports, and the PM is declaring complete collapse, utter collapse, and that's what virtue signaling does.
To pay for oil imports. What's going to happen as a result of that? Beautiful island, of course, Sri Lanka, very rich and varied, but big economic problems at the moment, and the economy, we're told, has collapsed, with the country unable to pay for oil imports. Get more on that and update you in just a few moments' time.
Folks, this is leading to a road of shortages, a road of homelessness, a road of just complete utter disaster. Here is Powell being interviewed by
Powell, I realize there are a number of factors that play a role in the historic inflation that we're experiencing. Supply chain disruptions, regulations that constrain supply. We've got rising inflation expectations and excessive fiscal spending. But the problem hasn't sprung out of nowhere. And in January of 2021, inflation was at 1.4%. By December of 2021, it had risen to 7%, a five-fold increase. Now, since the war in Ukraine began in late February, the rate of inflation has risen incrementally, another 1.6%, to a current level of 8.6%. So again, from 7% to 8.6%. Given how inflation has escalated over the past 18 months, would you say that the war in Ukraine is the primary driver of inflation in America?
No, inflation was high before, certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out.
I'm glad to hear you say that. The Biden administration seems to be intent on deflecting blame, and as recently as just this past Sunday, spread the misinformation that Putin's invasion of Ukraine is the, quote, biggest single driver of inflation. I'm glad you agree with me that that is not the truth.
And there you have it. Folks, look at a chart, and you'll clearly see that inflation was here way before the invasion happened. Here, this is kind of funny because it's, there's truth and humor, but this is a meme that says how the Constitution is interpreted in 2022. You know how it says Congress shall make no law forbidding yada yada yada, right? But here they go ahead and just clear out and make it say what they wanted to say. So in other words, they'll say Congress shall make law prohibiting the free exercise of the people. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall be infringed. No time of peace. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects shall be violated, searched, and seized. Anyways, thought that'd be a little good humorous meme to show you guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.